the State of the Union in the United States. It could be Joe Biden's last. Let's bring in Barbara Heineback, a former White House official in the Carter and Clinton administrations. Barbara, great to see you as always. How much is at stake here for Biden to get this right?
Oh, it's a huge moment for him. And it might be the only speech we hear from him toward the election between now and election day, because he refuses to do any debates. Trump didn't do debates either recently, and he had, opposition, but he really didn't have to with the lead he had. So he figured he'd save his debates for the opposing candidate, whoever it might be. And of course, it's Joe Biden now. And he has a lot at stake. His team is very concerned about how he's going to come off. He's been prepping for several weeks for this, and they've sort of hidden him out at Camp David, and we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. One of the more recent public appearances was a debacle from Joe Biden where he confused the president of Egypt with the president of Mexico. It really was a chaotic media appearance that he made. This one is much more controlled. He's got a teleprompter if he sticks to it.
If he sticks to it, and if he doesn't get lost and have one of those out of the universe moments that he often has. So if he just sticks to that monitor and rolls through it, he did pretty well, last year in his State of the Union address. It was one of his better performances, but he has so much at stake now. And I think the big issues in the country are crime, border control. You've got the economy and China. But when it comes to border control, the White House has been in denial for over 3 years that there's no problem. I don't know how many times Biden has said that everything is under control, the border is fine. His press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, she said the same, and so has Kamala Harris, his vice president. And Joe Biden appointed Kamala as the czar to take care of the border problem right at the beginning of his administration. Neither one of them bothered to go down to the border. And just a couple of weeks ago, Biden went down somewhere near the border, but it wasn't where the major problems are, coming into Texas, into San Diego, California, where your major numbers of illegal immigrants have passed through into the U.S. And then when it comes to crime, you've got this problem of catch and release. Someone does a crime, they've stolen from, a store, they've stolen televisions and major costly merchandise, one kind or another. They go to jail maybe for just a few hours or overnight. And what happens? It's a trickle down effect. What happens when you go into jail? You are let out free of charge. That means it's catch and release. And if you're an illegal immigrant, you are not even given over to ICE, which is our customs system that determines if you get to stay in the country or not. So you've got catch and release within a few hours or overnight at the most. And then there's no bail money that's required. And after that, you get out of the side door, so they're not given over to ICE. And then the police are not allowed to do their job. And these things have been going on at extreme numbers of illegals crossing into the states ever since June of 2024, when you had the George Floyd situation.
So, Barbara, you've got the border issue, you've got the crime issue, as you raise. From the excerpts that we've received from the White House, along with other press in the United States, that it says he's going to target, as you would expect, the issue of women's reproductive freedom. It is going to be on the ballot, he argues, again in 2024. How important is that for the Democratic Party to make that a central issue in this presidential race?
It's important for Biden because he has very little to stand on domestically. So that's one reason why he wants to pump this up. I expect him to pump up foreign policy more than he normally would, because State of the Union means state of what's going on here at home. But right now, his situation at home is so delicate and fragile that he'll need to go either toward foreign policy or talk about things like abortion. I think where that can help him a lot will be with not just with women, but it's also going to help him with all of those people. What both candidates have to worry about right now is who's going to get Nikki Haley's not candidates, but those that followed and supported her. And I believe that Biden has a much better chance at grabbing hold to larger numbers of them than Donald Trump, because I was hearing when I was back in the States last year, and it already looked like we could end up with the two curmudgeons, Biden and
Yeah.
Trump. And I was hearing women, especially in the urban areas and also out in the suburban areas even more. They said even though they might have been Democrats, but they were disappointed in the policies or the lack thereof of what Biden had done. They were
Yeah.
interested in Nikki Haley, but they absolutely would not vote for Donald Trump.
Barbara Heineback, great to chat as always. We'll talk to you soon.